Welcome to Take 5 for Arts Ed. My name is Kai Tepper, and I'm the Executive Director for Children's Creative Project, a program service of Santa Barbara County Education Office. I am so excited to have my dear friend and colleague here with me today, Dr. Susan Salcido from Santa Barbara County Education Office. Susan, welcome and thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Kai. Really appreciate it.
So my first question today is, what is the first arts experience that you remember?
All right, so I remember doing a lot of art when I was a child at home. I have a sister. We would do everything at home, playing all kinds of different things. But in school, I remember second grade, and I do not remember what the prompt was, but I definitely know what the outcome was. And what it was I drew I thought, just fabulous picture of my mother. It was my mother's face, and it was on a big white piece of paper, and everybody else had different drawings. And I remember taking my time with crayons in a big bin and drawing my mother's hair and the outline of her face. I was being so careful. And I was mortified because at the end, I drew in these eyebrows, and they were purple. A dark purple, because I thought the crayon was black and it ended up being purple. And I submitted it thinking that it was just not the right depiction of my mom. Well, it so happened that the second grade teacher submitted all this artwork into a community art show, and they chose mine as one of the winning pieces. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, art is not about being perfect. Art is about expressing, what's happening right there for you. It's not about perfection. It was about the beauty that I saw in my mother. So it was submitted. We went into the community forum, got an award, got actually a silver ring with a little turquoise flower. I'll never forget it. But it really did. It reminded me that this is about your expression. There's not a right and wrong. It's about being able to be creative. And I learned that lesson early on in second grade.
That's such an amazing story. I love that. So as a champion for the arts, what would you say is your favorite art form and why?
There's something that I am just drawn to when I'm around performing arts, and especially music. When I hear a choir performance for children, I can hardly stand it. My eyes always fill up with tears because of the beauty and the collaboration and the melody. But there's also, leaning in further, when I am witnessing a singer-songwriter performance, I think about not only the music they're playing, but the words that they've derived from their song that they're singing, and then the performance that they're displaying. I just find it so impactful, courageous, super creative. I just can't stop listening, watching, being present for that. I found myself recently at a lot of open mics at high schools that are local, and I just have such admiration for anyone who's performing. But when I also hear that they've written their songs, I think it goes back to me being that English teacher, loving the poetry lessons, and having individuals, young people, articulate themselves in such creative ways. I have such admiration. So that's one.
That's a great segue into our next question, which is, why do you value the arts for students?
I value arts for students for so many reasons. One of the reasons that I love arts in all of our schools for all of our children is that arts reaches all children of all abilities. Students with special needs and special education can be the most brilliant artists. Individuals with multi-languages, different cultures, different experiences, they all access art and can be just so passionate as artists. So I love that it's a real equity and equality piece as well for the arts. On top of it all, I think it really stimulates the brain in different ways. There's math, very important, science, so important, languages, so important. But when we get into the arts, I feel like it just the brain is moving in different ways. It sparks the creativity, the energy. I remember leaving an art classroom and seeing students there, and one student was talking about feeling so alive with being in the arts. This is so important. I feel it's so important that every student, when they go to school, they have something, if not 20 things, but at least one thing that they feel so passionate about. It feeds their soul. And I feel like arts can be that for our students.
I couldn't agree with you more. So how would you say you are making a place for the arts in your sphere of influence?
Well, the arts is a priority for us at the County Education Office, and for me as a leader for absolutely for sure. I mean, not only do I have children's art here right in my office and in the boardroom, multiple places on display, we really also invest in arts and invest in partnerships with the arts. So 3 ways in which we do that here at the County Education Office. One is the organization that you lead, the Children's Creative Project. Kai, you're a phenomenal leader, and you bring so many people, hundreds and hundreds of people together to support over 50,000 children in Santa Barbara schools. So it's phenomenal what you do. And what I want to say in terms of what you do is bring art to be super accessible in the classroom for children. But you also take children out and see and experience arts as well. So the Children's Creative Project, which is its own nonprofit, but yet administered by the County Education Office, it's a partnership, it's an investment, and it expresses our value in the arts in schools across the county. So that's for sure one. Another one is a partnership with a local treasure, the Santa Barbara Bowl. Together, the Santa Barbara Bowl, and we name a Performing Arts Teacher of the Year. And that is a countywide recognition for one teacher who's a Performing Arts Teacher of the Year. We illuminate and lift up their support, their incredible support for students across the county. And a third way we do it is another partnership with a renowned entity here in our community called the Music Academy of the West. And they actually, with just a little bit of our support in terms of accessing schools, they provide for free after-school choir support, lessons, just really incredible international expertise comes into our public schools, and they are provided for free.
So my last question for you is, what advice would you give an upcoming leader, whether they're a site leader, district, county, or an organization leader in arts education?
You know, I think about leaders today, site leaders, principals, all the roles you just named, and there's so many things coming at us in terms of priorities, hot front burner topics and really big priorities. And I think a way to center is to think about coherence and integration, and really not a singular priority, but how does it really weave into whatever the it is? How does it weave into the everyday? The big vision for the students and support, so that it's not a one-off, but rather integrated. So when I think about the arts, it's the same. Sometimes we find that some schools and districts have fewer resources, some have more. But I think either way, I mean, that's as an example of differences, but as long as we have it as a priority and can integrate it, let's find a way to make sure that it's not a one-off, but integrated in the everyday, every year for all students.
Thank you again, Susan, for joining us this morning and taking 5 for arts education.
Kai, I am all in for 5, always for arts education. Thanks, Kai.